off. Today is day 149 of the year of streaming and learning to code. We are continuing on at 27% of the way through PHP here at Codecademy. We are on lesson, I'm not sure, 4. We are on lesson 4 of 11. Arrays in PHP. We are at least going to tackle arrays in PHP, possibly knock out the next lesson loops. Maybe we'll do 5 and 6, potentially more. These are all fairly small sections, so we're going to see how much damage we can do today. Alright, and speaking of doing damage, here comes little kitty. How you doing, princess? Doing good? Oh, look at that, right past the webcam. She didn't even try to sabotage it. Let's go ahead and dive into section 4. Arrays. You nap on the desk or assume the napping position below the desk in my lap? No, on the desk. Controversial choice. Nice. Good. Hey, you've got all that space. The desk is clean. You and the escape key don't need to mingle, alright? This is an escape key mingle-free zone. It's same with the shift key. No. I know the keyboard is perfectly curved or tilted in a way for you to rest your head on it like a mechanical pillow. We are not going to deal with that right now. Yeah, go nap over there. All right. What are we dealing with? We are dealing with 7 sections here in lesson 4. I think that's basically about it. Let's double check. We've got everything in OBS. We've got audio. Checkity check. And webcam. Good. Little kitty. Codecademy. We're golden. And chat on our phone. Let's do this. We've got stray text. All right, there we go. D. How do we there we go. All good. Back to chat, back to focusing. The task at hand, streaming. What's an array? From the top. An array is a list of items, a bit like a shopping list. It allows you to store more than one item in only one variable. Think of it like this. When writing your shopping list, you could use a separate piece of paper for each item you need to buy a variable. However, this is silly and unneeded. Could you imagine how hard it would be to carry all that paper around with you? So you use one piece of paper for all your items. This one piece of paper is your array. In the editor, do you see the bit of text that starts with $array equals ? And we're looking. $array equals, yes, we most certainly do see that. Where are you going, little cat? Assuming the napping position? Yes, good. God, thank you. All right, and stray text again. Okay, and we're back to reading. All right, story time in the array. $array equals blah, blah, blah. That is our array. Technically, all of this in addition to the $sign. Don't worry about all the details just yet. We will explain in more detail later. For now, just see if you can work out what is happening. Once you are ready to move on, click Save and Submit Code. We've got our HTML, our head, title, body, PHP, and our array, which is titled array, and it consists of egg, tomato, and beans for some reason. Save and submit. We'll find out more in Section 2, Array Syntax. Array syntax. Have you noticed something familiar at the start of our array? That's right, it starts the same way as a variable with the $sign, then a name followed by equals. However, this is where things get different. When declaring an array, we have to use array parentheses. That's basically telling PHP that $array is an array and not something else, such as a regular old variable. By now, I'm sure you've noticed the text inside the parentheses and the opening parenthesis and the closing parenthesis. This is just the items in our array. So currently, our array has items egg, tomato, and beans in it. You can add any type of item you want to an array, and you do it in much the same way as when declaring variables. Use quotes when adding strings, and just enter the number when adding integers. You must always remember, however, that each item in an array must be separated by a comma. Ta-da! They are not just there for show, they are there because they are needed. Add 2 more items to our array, chips and sausage. This is quite the meal we are making. Let's go ahead and do a comma there. We'll get rid of and replace that with a trusty comma. Get rid of the extra space. And we will keep marching forward. All right, creating your first array. Nice work. Now let's try creating an array from scratch. Instructions: create an array called friends and put the name of 3 of your friends in it. Since each friend's name is a string, make sure to write it in between quotes. Okay, something about friends and $. Sounds like it could get interesting. $array equals friends and 3 friends, 1, 2, comma, space, 1, 2, comma, space, blah, blah, followed by our trusty semicolon. We've got Kyle and Timmy and Bob. Good, good, good. Do. Is that it? I think that's all we needed. No. Oh, $friends. Aha. I thought we were stating the type of the name of the array. It's not how this works. Not how that works. Actually, is it? No. $friends. Does this just need to be array? There we go. Problem solved. We fixed it. Okay, so section 4, access by offset with brackets. Each item in an array is numbered starting from 0. For example, we create an array, my array, do, re, mi, tons of fun. Sound of Music. I'm sure they've used that example before, but it's just so great. All right, each item is numbered starting from 0 like this. Do, re, mi, 1, 0, 0, 1, 2. There we go. The item do is in position 0, the item re is in position 1, and so on. Therefore, we can access a particular item of the array using its position like this. We've got our array. We're echoing my array 0, which would call do. First, we create an array named myArray2. Then we use echo to output the first item in my array. Since items are numbered starting from 0, do is at position 0. Instructions. In line 8, there's an array named tens. Use echo to output the third item in the tens. Remember that the items are numbered starting from 0. So the third item, and we're echoing. Here we go. Here we go. Echo. Which course? Troops. 12. Which course is this? This is it's PHP here at Codecademy, and it's towards their catalog, towards the bottom. So we finally, it was a long trek to get here, but yeah, that's that. And when we open said course, hopefully, maybe, it's thinking about, there we go. There's 11 parts to it. Not too bad. I think the estimated time for completion was like 4 hours or so. We've just kind of been trudging along bit by bit. So, yeah. It's good, though. Tons of fun. Covers all your basic, fundamental PHP needs. They will be sunsetting that course sometime in the coming, weeks or months. So for anyone interested, as a reminder, they're planning on getting rid of their PHP course here at Codecademy. All right, what were we looking at? We were echoing my array 0. No, not 0, 2, because that's the third element. Echo dollar tens curly stuff. No, not curly braces. Regular parentheses. And 2. Oh, no, also wrong. Brackets. I keep looking at the wrong examples and things. Focus, Steven. Focus. All right, we're echoing, and look, it already pulled in 30. Okay, so 5 of 7, we are getting there. Access by offset with curly brackets. PHP is a very flexible language. When accessing arrays by offset, you can actually use 2 different types of syntax. The brackets syntax we've covered, or you can use curly braces. You can use curly braces just like you use the square brackets. My array, blah, 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 print my array, and it prints, okay. So what's the benefit or difference? Both forms are equivalent, and using one or the other is totally up to you. Go ahead and update your previous code to use the curly syntax instead of the square. I guess it's just more than one way to do it. Perhaps there's no benefit. See, in yesterday's lesson, they mentioned the benefit of using, what was it? It was the switch statements, the cases, using the end switch, the falling through syntax or format, where you'd use the colons. That was beneficial instead of using the parentheses, because it helped differentiate when you were using PHP inside of your HTML document for formatting. But this, they don't mention any clever benefit. So another way, I guess. Modifying array elements. An item in an array can be changed by specifying its position and providing a new value like this. My array equals red, blue, yellow, something, something, something. Echo my array 1, spits out blue. My array 1 equals green. Then when we echo my array 1, it spits out green. Look at that. Fascinating. 1. First, we create a new array, my array, with a list of colors. 2. Then we output them in position 1. Since items are numbered starting at 0, blue is at position 1. Next, we change the item at position 1 to green. Now we have the output item at position 1, and we get green. Instructions. In line 8, there's an array named $languages. Change an item in the languages array. Take your pick, then use echo and output languages. Okay, so first up, languages, HTML, JavaScript, PHP, Python, Ruby. Write the code to modify the languages array. Do we need to print in line 8? Yes, that's line 8. Change an item. Anyone is up to us. And then use echo. Cool. So here we will do the change dollar blah blah blah. Dollar copy languages. And then here we will echo blankety blank. Okay. I know we can do curly or brackets, braces, take your pick. But because their example is using the brackets, we are going to do the same. So, monkey see, monkey do. Semicolon for good measure. Okay, so languages equals something about something. Oh, we forgot our brackets. What are we going to update? HTML is 0, JavaScript is 1, PHP, Python, Ruby. We'll update Python to Sass. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3 equals Sass. Ta-da, beep-diddy-dee-dee-dee, and we sub. Oh god, no, it didn't like us. Oh, we forgot the number. We forgot the number. Okay, I thought it was something catastrophic. Hey, Fatal, hey, look at the error messages in Python. Wow. Or not Python, in PHP. What else had awesome errors? It wasn't SQL, was it? Maybe it was SQL. Let's check and see. Now I need to double check. There's only been a couple courses that have had, like, the error system has just been spectacular. Usually it's just this nightmare of info they throw at you, but what is, I think it was Java. Java had very straightforward, awesome errors and error messages and codes that came up. It would, like, there were even arrows that would point, like, you forgot syntax, like, comma here, and there'd be a vertical, like, caret pointing to it. This is pretty straightforward, too. That is cool. Alright, fatal error, cannot use blah for reading lines on it's because it's empty. Okay, so, good little tangent. Echo, languages, and 3, and fire away. Look at that, Sass. All is right in the world. Green check mark. Onwards to the next lesson. 7 of 7. So close to being done. Troops. How long have you been coding? I have been coding for 148... No, what's today? Today's 149 days. So yes, that's how long I've been coding. I have had... That's also how long the stream has been. It's kind of in tandem. I had a little experience before. I'd actually done the HTML and CSS course here at Codecademy like 4 or 5 years ago. And it was super awesome. But I did some like 16, 20 hour, like, all-night binge code session because it was so cool, and I totally fell into it, and it was great. I made it to the beginning of the JavaScript course and made my own little, like, text adventure, and I wanted to do that every single day since, but no one has 16, 20 hours of free time every single day to just code, so because I was working in college and all that stuff, so it was hard to find chunks of 16 hours of free time nightly to do that. So coding quickly fell to the back burner, kind of as a pipe dream, if you will. Not quite, but there were just other things on the to-do list. So now I finally found some time, motivation to do this. Didn't anticipate it turning into a year-long thing. I wanted to just stream in general. Capture card I got was too good for my crappy computer. This is about all my computer can handle streaming is Codecademy. Otherwise, it starts to bug out and get really interesting. So that's no fun. I can stream through my Xbox One, but it's not quite the same. So, yeah, that's that. Anyways, courses. Did I finish all the courses? Not quite, but we are so unbelievably close. These two they added recently, like 3 weeks to a month ago, but we're finishing up PHP, and then we will be done with Codecademy after the Learn Watson API. Now, true, after we finish the Watson API, we're going to jump back and do the new courses they've added, JavaScript and responsive design. But aside from that, yeah, we finally conquered. That was also our goal. It wasn't really to learn just one language. It was mainly to get through Codecademy, and then continue on from there. Which courses did you finish? Oh, no. That's it. The blue ones mean I haven't done them. The gray ones are the ones that I've completed. So I've done all of these. It's been 149 days of awesome. I mean, there's been a lot of headaches here and there, but, you know, we made it alive. So check the Codecademy goodness. DDD, she's loading. She's a thinker. Ta-da, all the courses. And I think my webcam / stupid face is blocking this part of the list. The list goes all the way down to the bottom of the screen, basically the bottom of the webcam. So PHP, we're almost off the screen, and we will check out But yeah, it's been good. Which courses? How many hours per day? Honestly, I've just been going through. It was kind of a balance. I know I could do that sort of binge learning, like 16, 20 hours a day. I have that, like, fixated. I game a lot on occasion, so we're no stranger to a 8, 10, 12-hour gaming session, so I could do the exact same coding. The difference, though, the downside to that, which I also learned, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. Honestly, as far as the streams, you can see, it's anywhere from, like, 45 minutes to, I don't know, like, 2 hours, usually. The stream's usually an hour to 2 hours every day, but it's actually a lot better than just, like, powering through binge coding, high amounts of learning in a small amount of time. That's beneficial if that's needed. I didn't need to power through Codecademy, though, and it's very much like learning a language. You can learn a language, but really where it sinks in is where you can practice with someone, like, every single day, even if it's a small amount. And that's been the upside to me doing it in smaller portions, is that I've been able to come back and do it daily, and it's not some 14-hour, grinding session. It's just, an hour or two of, like, really, we'll call it highly focused. I mean, there's still chat. But yeah, it's an hour or two of good, solid learning, and it's much more realistic. Like, anyone else could do this. If you're curious what coding for And it takes me only like an hour or 2 hours to get through the small amount that I go through because I'll interact with chat or I'll stop and go on a tangent about whatever. But if you were just at home on your laptop, you could easily power through whatever hour or two amount of content that I made it through in just about 30 minutes. So this is basically what 30 to 45 minutes of coding would look like for 150 days. You'd be able to probably get through Codecademy, and probably even faster. People would spend more time on weekends. I've streamed every minute of Codecademy that I've done. I haven't missed anything. I haven't done any coding off stream. So it's kind of a weird project situation. I would like to stream more, or I'd like to code more, but I can't always stream when I want to code, so it's a balancing act. It's been good. So yeah, like an hour or two per day, I'd say. At a minimum, about 30 minutes. I think my shortest stream has been about 20 minutes. I think my longest has been about 3.5. What were we looking for? We made it to section 7. All right. Deleting array elements. Deleting array elements. Finally, you can remove elements using unset. PHP array, red, blue, green, unset array 2. Interesting. So unset is the elimination keyword here with PHP. Dreadsteed! Hey! There's another upside to doing all of Codecademy. You get to see all these different programming paradigms. That is very true. Yeah, the main thing, I was shocked to see PHP just lives right inside HTML. I'm surprised they don't actually teach PHP earlier here at Codecademy, and I'm baffled that they'd be getting rid of it, that they're sunsetting the course. And it's so, like, simple and straightforward. It is very much like JavaScript, because they teach HTML and CSS kind of in tandem, and then they dive into JavaScript, which I think JavaScript is one of the easiest ones to pick up and learn. But I'm surprised they've got PHP all the way at the end of their list. I know it's kind of, I guess, an older language and isn't utilized as much, even though this is like what's driving WordPress, apparently, which is, God knows how large of a chunk of the internet, but still, it's just, it fits right here in HTML. I think that's so cool, and it's been pretty straightforward. Anyways, Dreadsteed, you'll notice all the similarities between languages. Yeah, all that, definitely. That is all very true. And that's one of the main reasons also why I wanted to go through all of Codecademy, to figure out what language I kind of want to commit to, but really where they're similar and where their differences reside. And it's been basically exactly, if not more than what I wanted over the last 150 days. So good times. So we are unsetting something. You can even delete the whole array. Unset the whole damn array. Look at that. Instructions. Go ahead and remove Python from the languages array using unset. Oh, they reset it. I was like, we just changed Python to Sass. How are we going to do that? So write the code here to remove Python. Write your code above this line. Don't worry about the code below the line just yet. We're using it to print out the new array for you, for each language, as lang print langatang. Nice. Let's get our code on. PHP goodness. All we have to do is unset array, unset dollar array twos bdd do semicolon and 0 1 2 3 is our guy Python. Fire away. Oh god, no. Angry, red, error, bad. Undefined variable. Array, line 11. Oh, because I did array instead of languages. Damn them and their examples. Telling you. Monkey see, monkey do. That's what, there's no... This is all surface level thinking. God, typical. Slimy bastard. Okay, languages. There we go. Look at that. No Pythons here. Save and submit code. Healthy green check mark. Arrays. PHP. Beautiful, beautiful. We're closing that. Next, onwards. Okay, up next, for loops in PHP. Arrays are awesome, but iterating over them to use each element in the array is even more awesome. We can do that with loops. Start lesson. Time to get loopy. Okay. Hopefully she's loading. She's thinking. We're getting there. All right. Still thinking. There we go. Look at that. All right. How many bits and pieces here? 7? Okay. We'll at least knock this out. I'm not sure if we'll do the next section of loops, but we will at least knock out these 7. Oh god, I clicked on something. Huh. Leap year. Let's open that in a new tab. Well, we'll search away from up. All right. What is a loop? Programming, oh god, highlighting. Programming can be tough work, and sometimes it's made tougher by having to do the same thing over and over. Let's say you want to echo a list of leap years, in the editor. You think we'd have to type PHP, echo 4, 812, and so on. But there's a better way. A loop is a useful bit of code that repeats a series of instructions for you. For instance, instead of typing echo many times like we did above, we can simply use the code in the editor to the right. Although, now that I'm curious, that's the right for me, that's the left for you guys. So I have to do this. Yes, there we go. That direction. Back to Codecademy. Here we go. Alright, so to the right, instructions. Check out the for loop in the editor. See how it echoes the value for leap. We are for leaping 2004. Leap all the way to 2050, and it will stop. Leap will progress by leap plus 4. Okay. Check out the for loop in the editor. See how it echoes the value, adds it 4, then repeats. Click Save and Submit to learn how it all works. We will most definitely do so. Next lesson. Oh, we never looked at leap year at Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with what leap year is, but we're going to read it anyways. A leap year is known as what the intercalary? Is that a thing? I've never encountered that word. Also known as an intercalary year or bisextile year? Where did they find they reached to the bottom of the Scrabble barrel to pull these out? What the hell? Anyways, is a calendar year containing one additional day, or in the case of a lunisolar calendars, what a month. This is just probably the hardest definition ever, added to keep the calendar year synchronized with the astronomical or seasonal year. Because seasons and astronomical events do not repeat in a whole number of days, calendars have the same number of days each year, drift over time with respect to the event that the year is supposed to track by inserting the called intercalating. Ugh, God. That is a terrible word. Don't name your child that. They're going to have a terrible time on the playground. An additional day or month into the year, the drift can be corrected. A year that is not a leap year is called a common year. Fascinating. Every year is just a common year. Wait, hold on. I think I overanalyzed that. I don't think that's like a proper noun, because then I think it would have been, oh, well, you know what? Leap year isn't a proper noun either. I didn't know if I've been just calling it year versus common year. I feel like common year is so much more less classy. But that's okay. Year tangent over with for the next 4 years. For loop syntax. Cool, right? Kind of. Let's go through the syntax slowly, step by step. Here's an example that just echoes the numbers 0 through 9. For I equals 0. I is less than 10, I plus plus, which means it'll iterate by 1. Echo I, and it spits out 0 to 9, just like so. It breaks down like this. A for loop starts with the for keyword. This tells PHP to get ready to loop. Next comes the set of parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we tell PHP 3 things separated by semicolons: where to start the loop, where to end the loop, and what to do to get to the next iteration of the loop. For instance, count up by 1. After the part in the parentheses, the part in the curly braces tells PHP what code to run for each iteration of the loop. So the above example says, start looping with $I at 0, stop looping before I gets to 10, and count up by 1 each time. And for each iteration, echo the current value of $I. The I++ is shorthand for I equals $I plus 1. You'll see this a lot. Good. Okay, instructions. These kind of low, so we're going to open the hint, bump that up a little, just enough to clear my mug. Complete the for loop in the editor by replacing the blankety blankety blank with the correct loop syntax. Use the example in the instructions as a guide. Cool. So, PHP echoes the first 5 even numbers. I equals 2. It'll go to 11. I equals I plus 2. Blankety blank, echo. Oh, they want the words and the curly braces. That's what they want. Okay, so we were replacing the missing syntax. There we go. For. For, followed by curly stuff, followed by closing curly stuff. And let's send submit. Nice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Writing your first for loop. Great work. Now let's put together our first for loop from start to finish. A for loop that prints out numbers 1 through 10 might look something like this. For I, 0, less than 11, I++, echo I. This for loop counts up by 1 each time, all the way to 10. You can change the third part of the for loop so that it counts up by 5 instead, like this. For I equals 0, up to 11, counting by plus 5. Instead of plus plus, we have I equals I plus 5 to count all the way up by 5 to 10. Write a 4. Yeah, let's bump that up a little. There we go. Wow, that is a massive hint. We're all the way up here. That's better. Write a for loop that counts up by 10 all the way to 100. Inside the for loop, echo the current value of I, just like the examples above. All right, here we go from the top. So, for something, $I equals, single equals 0. Should we start at 10? Would it be wrong to start at 10? Tough call. Yeesh. I'm going to start at 0 for force of habit. Okay. Semicolon. $I is something. $I is, we want it to be less than 101. And semicolon for him with $I equals I plus 10. The program took too long to finish. Check your code for infinite loops and try again. What about what? Was my storytelling too long? I'm not sure what they were concerned about. I plus 10, semicolon. No, not semicolon. Curly braces. And now we are echoing. $I. Okay. That is all she wrote. We should be good. Fingers crossed. Let's do this. Save and submit. She's thinking. She's thinking. This could be bad. Let's copy this. We're going to refresh the page. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. That's weird that it saved a little bit of what we typed, but not everything. Which is why we copied all that goodness. And save and submit. It's still thinking. I think I broke the internet. It does not like what we have to offer. Write your for loop. For I equals blah, semicolon, I less than blah, semicolon, I equals I plus, so forth and such, curly nonsense, echo I, with a semicolon. It seems pretty good overall. Look at this. Look at that. We even got... That is pretty damn close to what they have for theirs. For I, 101. Oh, they've got $I. See, that's confusing. I was looking at that in the last example. No, so it wasn't the last example. It was here. See, they have I equals $I. So $I and $I. But down here, instead, we have $I equals just I. So I was looking at that, and I was following that. Do you see this? The inconsistencies? I know that's a minor thing, but still. Last 149 days have been riddled like that, and I looked at the last example they showed to follow my thing. Typical. So let's shove the $, here. Save and submit. And let's go ahead and copy all of this again. Let's just refresh the page. Once more from the top. Maybe we even need to reset the code. Okay, there we go. Aha! Look at that. Oh, what is that? Oh, it starts with 0. It starts with 0. So maybe we should start with 10? I'm not sure, because this is one of those things where Codecademy is kind of finicky. Like, we did count 10 to 100, but I don't know how they feel about 0. Let's find out, because, see, they don't actually specify. They show in the example 10, 20, 30, but I feel like that's just an in general example of counting by tens. I don't know if they're actually specifying start at 10. Because they're just saying count up by tens all the way to 100, which, if you were to start at 0, and their hint even has starting at 0, we'll run it. It'll probably be fine. Okay, that works. That works. It's good. Dreadsteed, that's probably one of my pet peeves of PHP. Oh, the Nope, it starts at 10. Or it starts at 0, then adds 10. Okay, gotcha. Weird. That is all kinds of strange. Well, we made it out of the woods for that one. So 4 of 7. We are getting there. When to use for. Great job. For loops are great for running the same code over and over, especially when you know ahead of time how many times you need to loop. There are other kinds, such as while and do while loops, that we can use when we don't know ahead of time how many times we'll need to loop, but we'll cover those in a later session. There's also a special kind of loop called a for each loop that we can use to update or print out every element in a list, for example, an array. Let's cover for each next. Click Save and Submit. Onwards. 5. No. Lol, the dollar is my pet peeve. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot of dollars in PHP. A lot of that going on. We noticed that very early on, but I've seen so much, we'll call it nonsense and interesting things after going through all the languages here at Codecademy. I know there's even more languages that they don't cover, but it's still not exactly a small amount of languages. There's so many weird quirks that I've come across, it's hard to keep track of them. The dollar one, I think, is in PHP is definitely one of the most consistent ones I've seen, but I also think it's one of the, we'll call it, for lack of a better phrase, like the smallest hindrance, least hindering element of some of the other languages I've seen. I'm trying to think of an example. There was one where we had to spell out, like, literally everything. You know what it was? I think it was JavaScript. Or not JavaScript, it was Java. Like, there was a lot of, you had to tell it to, like, it was even just a print. It was like system.out.print something every single time you wanted to print something. It was like, holy sh... Yeah, it's just, God. It was never ending. And, like, I mean, I thought Java was fine as far as the language and, like, how it worked and stuff, but just the fact that everything was so... Yeah. Yeah, dollar, okay, it's visually unappealing to me. Yeah, no, I definitely, I could see that. Yes, Java is incredibly verbose. System.out.printin, that's right, the stupid print in, and then the parentheses. Holy God. What a nightmare. Anyway, like, echo is just so much easier, right? Anyways, alright. Loops plus arrays equal for each. The for each loop is used to iterate over each element of an object, which makes it perfect for use with arrays. You can think of for each as jumping from element to element in the array and running the code in between the curly braces for each of those elements. Instructions. Check out the code in the editor. See the $lang variable takes on the value of each of the elements in $langs one by one, then echoes that element to the page. Let's first find what the hell they're talking about for each. So we've got langs for all of our different languages, JavaScript, HTML, PHP, Python, and Ruby. And then we have our for each loop. For each langs as lang, echo, lang. Okay. So the array title goes first, and then the name of the actual loop and code block that we'll be printing is referenced twice. So 1 as 2. Cool. All right. With that said, did we have to do anything? No, all we do is save and submit code. Save and submit. Onward. Next lesson, practicing with for each. in Java. There is one thing that makes me a little sad about Codecademy. You learn about the various control flow concepts, but they don't seem to teach you the underlying concepts. Ah, interesting. So there's a bigger picture. It helps in understanding what for each is for. Interesting. Speaking of interesting, don't mind me. My nose/face hole is on the verge of just leaking and spewing everywhere. So I'm gonna spare the audience and any children watching as I clean out my face hole. Oh god. We're alive. We're alive. That was close. Okay. Breathing's overrated. What were we looking at? We were looking at for each loops. Let's walk through the for each syntax step by step. First, here's a for each loop that iterates over an array and prints out each element it finds. PHP numbers equals array 1, 2, 3 for each number as item echo item. First, we want to create our array using array parenthesis syntax we learned in the last lesson. Next, we use the for each keyword to start the loop, followed by parentheses. This is very similar to what we've done with the for loops. Between the parentheses, we use the number as item syntax to tell PHP for each thing in numbers, assign that thing temporarily to the variable item. We don't have to use the name item. Just with for loops, we can call our temporary variable anything we want. Finally, we put the code we want to execute between the curly braces. In this case, we just echo each element in turn. Complete the for each loop, kind of low. Let's open that. There we go. Complete the for each loop in the editor by replacing the underlined stuff with the correct loop syntax. Use the example in the instructions above as a guide. All right. So here we have sentence, our array, I'm learning PHP, typical. This will be for each, followed by curly stuff and curly stuff. For each, ta-da, and curly bits, and closing curly bit. Okay. DDD, boo, do. Save and submit. Onwards. All right. 7 of 7, all on your own. Then we'll figure out if we continue with the next lesson, but we'll see how this goes. Dreadsteed. The bigger picture is essentially for each lets you iterate through any container without having to specify how to traverse it. It's related to another concept called an iterator, which implements how to traverse the container. Every container in Python implements iterator, for example. Fascinating. All right. I mean, we've seen, I guess that's the other benefit to doing all the other courses at Codecademy is, I mean, they're just going through control flow again. We've seen for loops and for each loops in basically every single type of language they offer here at Codecademy, aside from, CSS and Sass, but everything else goes through all the comparators and yeah, they don't exactly dive into the in-depth, what exactly is going on. They kind of skim the surface of the why, and they sort of skim the surface on even the how to do it. But that's... Codecademy is just really to get the ball rolling from my experience the last 149 days. But it's done its job-ish. There's still plenty that... and you know what? All the things I was looking just the other day or two ago, the courses that I'd like them to update are being updated, which I believe was Python and Ruby and Ruby on Rails. They're going to be updating new courses. They're in like, there's some, I think, catastrophic issue right now. All of the stuff like to the right, the results window, nothing loaded for any of the Rails courses. Also, the instructions were just kind of meh at best. But anyway, so they're updating those. They're also updating all the HTML and CSS courses for HTML5 and CSS3. But then they're sunsetting PHP. So they are hopefully with the new courses, they'll be adding more info, not just updating the content in regards to HTML5, but either way. Codecademy definitely is not in depth as many of the other resources out there, which we will see finally for ourselves once we conquer this, which we are so close to conquering Codecademy. Speaking of conquering stuff, all on your own. Great work. Now let's see you write a for each loop all on your own. Instructions. On line 8, ta-da, there's an array named yard lines. Write a for each loop that iterates over the array and echoes each element to the page. All right. BDD yard lines. So we're just diving into the for each. For each. For each. What's going down? Troops. Do you know how to build a complete application now? Like if I ask you to develop a certain application, can you do it now? I suppose it depends on the type of application or program. I mean, we've made extremely small programs, but in my mind, I guess it scales larger. The only different, I'm not sure. This kind of it answers your question and kind of doesn't, because I've done everything here in Codecademy and I've seen so many languages. When I'm thinking, because I'm going to be trying to start to do side projects, creating apps, whatever you want to call it, after I complete Codecademy, as I check out other sites to learn, like Free Code Camp and Treehouse. Dreadsteed also mentioned the Odin project, which is very similar, kind of like learning all parts of multiple languages and kind of how they all fit together. Let's see, can you do a mini social media site with database, profiles, authentications, and messages? Oh yeah, I was going to get to all that. I was going to say, when I think of an app, it's not just like the interface that I'm thinking of, but having the database. You know, I just came out of SQL, and they had the authentication, and Ruby on Rails also went in, like the login stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of different parts to even a basic application, but it depends on if you just wanted a mini text adventure with no login info, or if you wanted like a little website that you have to sign into to access content. But yeah, you know, I could do something basic like that, I definitely think, because they've gone through a lot of the, I mean, hell, even, I'll back out and jump to it, some of their courses are exactly that, like basically the foundation of an app, but it's all very, it scratches the surface, kind of like the for each loop. That was only 1 or 2 pages of explaining what a for each loop is. I know that covers the concept of how it is. From there, you can kind of get creative with it, but yeah, I definitely could create something basic. It would take me some time. Make a website, deploying a website, that's another aspect to it. So yeah, I mean, if we could, I could make it work. Free Code Camp is awesome. Free Code Camp is HTML and CSS only. Actually, it's not. They try to teach JavaScript, but not powerful. Teach Node /Express, but it's lame there. Free Code Camp also does front end and back end using Node. Well, back end using Node, yeah, back end. There's only Node and Mongo. A real course or something you can learn, just instructions. Oh, see, I was wondering if free code, because I also know, like, I know they have instructions or like kind of courses almost, but my main thing that I've heard from or about Free Code Camp is that there's access to like real world projects. It sounded like there were a bunch of charities or like nonprofit companies looking for free, I guess, assistance with creating websites and applications. And I guess through Free Code Camp, you can find or access these companies and interact and help assist, kind of building their sites and building your skills. So I'm not sure if that's 100% true. I'm on Free Code Camp all the time, chatting there, and people there will tell you the same. That's true to an extent. You won't be good with Node by studying on Free Code Camp. There are good for instructions to HTML and CSS. Essentially, the way I would use Free Code Camp is for project ideas and ask people to help. Yeah, the weather app, portfolio, but the Node stuff. As far as learning how to do all the various backend stuff, you need another source. The weather app, Twitch APIs, all these GDDs. Fun. Okay. Good. All right. So that's that. But yeah, all of these in tandem, I think, well, not necessarily all the courses, but a lot of them. I mean, I can see how I could combine them all to make an app and a website, which is probably what I'm going to be doing as soon as I finish here at Code Academy and start setting up little side projects. I'll probably do a couple different side projects, in addition to checking out other sites like Free Code Camp, Treehouse, and all the other fun free resources out there. But yeah, good times. Close. All right. Weather app. Okay, so the Free Code Camp is awesome. Not sure. Okay, just good for a noob to get into HTML. Oh well, I'm a pretty green noob to coding. But for someone to learn how to use API, you need to get a real course. Gotcha. All right. Well, that's good to know. That at least clears up some of the mystery regarding Free Code Camp. It kind of sounded, the vision that I had of it from what I had heard through the grapevine was that it was sort of the end-all fantasy land of learning to code. But that might be overselling it. Maybe I was listening to their marketing team too much. All right, what were we doing? All on your own. Great work. Now let's see you write a for each loop. Okay, so for each. Why are we not? There we go. There we go. All right, for each dollar yard lines is dollar yard YL. We'll do YL. Curly stuff. Echo. Dollar YL. Ta-da! The 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, touchdown. Way cool. Fire away. Save and submit. Congratulations, you finished this course, 4 loops in PHP. Go ahead and close that. Next, let's see. Up next, while loops in PHP. Sometimes we don't know ahead of time how many times we'll need to loop. When that's the case, we can use a different structure, a while loop. Start lesson. All right. I can't imagine it's going to be a math. Well, that is... They've got the story there, block of instructions. I kind of want to just get the loop section over with. That looks fun. Okay, so hold on. What are we looking at? 7 again. We can get through that. We can do 7. Good to get into... No, it's good to get into HTML, CSS, basic JavaScript, and do their projects, front end. Okay, good. Yeah, because that's probably where my next side projects are going to start with, is HTML and some basic JavaScript stuff. You need to go read some JS books, study Node on your own. Probably Dreadsteed is one of their... Too biased, because I have a good theoretical basis on how to implement MVC, so I could learn how to do their stuff with Python and say Flask or Django. My design skills freaking suck, though. I have experience with Python, Java, C#, Lisp, Racket, and a bit of Clojure. Functional programming, yes. I'm looking for a plate. Does Topher frequents the stream? He usually knows, but I'm sure it sounds like you guys have frequented Free Code Camp enough. Do they have any of the C languages on Free Code Camp? Because Codecademy is missing C, C#, C++, and I'm definitely interested in tracking those down. Some tutorial noob courses. Nope, none. Damn. I'll find them. I'm sure there's a free source out there, but still. And I haven't invested tons of time into finding free stuff. I'm just trying to make it. That's the other thing, is it's been 149 days of all the free stuff that Codecademy has to offer. They've got way more content if you pay for it. My concern is I'm not sure of the... It's kind of heavy-handed, but of the quality difference. So... Because I don't know if the courses that are free like this are just more straightforward, just kind of lesser content, because it's free. Totally understandable if that's the case, but they're free courses, just from the vibe that I've gotten from the site and all that stuff, and from, again, what I've heard online and reviews, I'm not sure if the paid-for courses are much, much better. They've got all kinds of fun activities, but there's all kinds of additional free websites like codewars.org or whatever it is that have a bunch of free activities as well, so I figured I'd just look elsewhere. There's C# on Codecademy. There is. That may be one of the courses that they don't have anymore. Maybe they added it. Maybe that, I mean, at least I don't see C# on their site. Well, if you want to bring it all together, Course U could try CS50. Yes, I highly recommend CS50. What is CS50? I don't even... It's new. I want to believe you. I'm on here daily. I can't have missed it that much. Could have. C#. Raise your hand when you see C#. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I don't know if they offer some... CS50 is from Harvard. Good to know. Okay. Harvard as in, like, the Education X? Oh, Dreadsteed. Yep, Education X. Okay. That was, yep, another... I didn't know that the CS50 course, or CS50 was what the course was called, but I did know that Harvard offered a free class or two regarding computer programming, or looks like computer science from the link, regarding Education X. I was actually thinking of looking into other courses as well, even aside from from programming, just through Education Acts, but good times. The lack of C# on their, from my perspective. Also, they have all their courses listed here. Make a website to responsive design, HTML to learn APIs. Try C#. Oh, Code School. Gotcha. Okay, other site. Fair enough. But that's good to know. So that site will have net. Try C#. Fun. Free. Good. Free is our friend. All right. Also, as a reminder, yeah, chat. This is because again, we're making it work. This is why we aren't streaming games yet, because our computer's too slow. We also have one monitor, so chat on my phone. Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we're rolling. That's why I'm always reading down here. I'm not totally crazy. Speaking of crazy, hey little kitty, what are you doing? We should get back to coding. We should really get back to coding. Okay. Hey, cat, you're blocking the screen, and now you're not. Thank you. Okay, so let's knock out this last lesson. I think after these 7, we'll call it quits for today. Okay. Oh my god, cat, just sit down, your tail perfectly blocking stuff. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you want the scratches. Look at you. You're so furry. You're such a good cat when you're not ruining the stream. Beautiful. All right. Go time from the top. Looping the loop. A structure is a loop is a structure that tells a computer to execute a set of statements multiple times. If you have a process that you want to repeat, repeated hundreds of times, it pays to put in a loop so you don't need to write hundreds of lines of code. If you're working on these courses in order, you have already seen how a for loop can allow for a set of number, what the f is happening in this sentence? If you are working on these courses in order, you have already seen how a for loop can allow for a set number of loop iterations. But what about a situation where, due to randomness perhaps, you don't know how many times the loop should repeat? In that case, you can use a while loop. A while loop will execute as long as a certain condition is true. For example, the loop in the editor will simulate coin flips as long as the number of consecutive heads is less than 3. Interesting. Okay. That's where we get to the middle bit. 2 heads, and then it goes to tails, so it continues on. After 3 heads, it dies. Gotcha. Take a look at the code editor, or take a look at the code in the editor. See if you understand how it all works. Once you think you know, or if you're stumped, no pressure. Click Save and Submit, and see what happens. Check the hint if you would like an explanation. Let's go ahead and do doc type HTML, head, link type text CSS, style sheet. That's all the fun is CSS for the coins. We're going to flip a coin until we get 3 heads in a row. Head count equals 0, flip count equals 0. While head count is less than 3, flip random 0 or 1, flip count plus plus, so it'll keep doing it by 1. If flip head count plus plus and echo the coin heads, else head count 0 and it will put out tails. Echo again, it looks like flip coin or flip count flips. All right. It took flip counts, so it took however many flips. All right. Fire away, save and submit. 9 flips this time. We'll do it once more just for fun because we can. Save and submit. 6 flips. Tails, tails, tails. Heads, heads, heads. Interesting that it will end on heads 3 times, but not tails 3 times in a row. So we could have 900 tails flipping and then three heads to stop it. Just thrown out there for some perspective. Okay, while loop syntax. In the last exercise, you saw how a while loop can be used to repeat a set of commands an unknown number of times. The loop used the following syntax: while, condition, curly stuff. Loop statement goes here. Where the statements inside the curly braces are executed as long as the condition, cond, is evaluated as true. In the last exercise, condition was that the number of consecutive heads was less than 3, head count less than 3. It's important when writing loops to make sure that the loop will exit at some point. The loop, while greater than 2, or 2 is greater than 1, and then code, will never exit, and is an example of an infinite loop. Avoid infinite loops like the plague. This is why we need to include loop condition equals false in line 12. If you submit an infinite loop in one of these exercises, you will need to reload the page to stop it. Check out the while loop on line 9. Okay, line 9, while, empty, echo your message that the loop is running below. And now it's done. Okay. 1. On line 9, add a condition inside the parentheses that will make the while loop run as long as the loop condition is equivalent to true. Inside the curly braces, use echo to output the loop is running. 3, then click save and submit code to run your first PHP while loop. All right. Go time. Let's do while something. And what's going down? I totally wasn't. After this bit, yeah, we checked out. DDD on line 9. Add a condition inside the parentheses that will make the while loop true. So we want it to be true. 1 is less than 2. I feel like that's bad. Program took too long. Infinite loop. Bad, bad, bad. Okay. As long as loop condition equals true. Inside the curly braces, echo. Let's do this. Echo. Oh, that's what they want. Okay, here we go. While they don't want that, they want this. That's better. Save and submit. You know, we may need to refresh this. Refreshing. DDD do 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 do. BDD loading, hopefully. And we will. That's not going to end well. Oh, damn, and I copied it. Son of a... Typical. All of that. Just trying to make it work. Okay. Down here, copy, echo. And here we have our condition. Copy, paste, and run. Did we miss something? Oh, semicolon, line 12. Typical. Typical. Save and submit. Green check mark. Okay. Barely made it out of that one alive. your first while loop. Now it's time for you to write your own while loop from scratch. Maybe you could reproduce the behavior of one of your for loops from the previous course, or you could try to write your own coin flip program. The beauty of programming is that you can do whatever you want, unless you want to write an infinite loop on purpose, which you don't write infinite loops. And if you find you have submitted one, refresh the page to stop it. Instructions. Write the code for your own while loop below the comment inside the PHP tags, then save and submit. So we will do while curly stuff and we're echoing echo something or other with quotes and semicolon. What else? Should we do the false? What was it going to be? So their example, they have, if you're having some trouble thinking of something to do, try taking this while loop that counts from 0 to 3. So loop count starts at 0. While loop count is less than 4, echo the loop count and count up by 1. Okay, so we can do something similar. Kitten count. Yep, we're going there. Kitten count. Ta-da! Equals starting at 0. And from there, we will do $kitten count will be less than 12. Yep, 12 kittens. Deal with it. Echo the kittens. Why is it sad? It doesn't, oh, well, close. It's because we're not there yet. We need to have our iterator to stop it. We'll add it. The kittens just keep coming. Cool. Okay, and we will iterate through that with kitten count plus plus. Another fantastic username. Semicolon. So let's take you, copy that, save and submit, lean to refresh. All right, here we go. And we're pasting, hopefully. Maybe we just need to reset code from the get-go. Ta-da! Look at that. That is a mess of kittens. Save and submit. Green check mark. Next lesson. Using end while. PHP offers the following alternative syntax for while loops. While, condition, looped statements go here, end while. Note the colon after the end parentheses. Yes, no. Notice the semicolon after the end. Wait. Hold on. What the hell am I noticing? Note the colon after the end parenthesis and the semicolon after the end while statement. When they are embedded in HTML, loops that use this end while syntax can be more readable. Then the equivalent syntax involving curly braces. While condition, curly braces, loop statement goes here. Feel free to use whichever syntax you prefer, except on this exercise. Convert your while loop from the last exercise into an end while syntax. Then click Save and Submit Code just to make sure your new loop works just like the old one. Fair enough. So let's get rid of the curly braces. And we will look forward to end while, semicolon. Ta-da! Look at that. You get a kitten, and you get a kitten. Everyone gets a kitten. Okay. Next lesson. 5 of 7. We are getting close. So very close. How do you do what? Hold on. What the deuce? How do you do while? There we go. Speaking is difficult. Reading is difficult. Yeah. All right. You may have noticed that a while loop checks the loop condition before each iteration of the code inside. A logical alternative is to check the condition after each iteration before looping back. A do-while loop does just that. One consequence of this difference is that the code inside a while loop can be bypassed entirely, whereas the code inside a do-while loop will execute at least once. This means the loop condition can depend exclusively on code within the loop's body. This is the case for the code in the editor, where each iteration represents a coin flip, and any time the result of the coin flips is tails, the loop stops. Aha, this kind of covers what we were mentioning before earlier, how it'll stop after 3 heads, but if there was no tails condition, it'll just keep going. You're gonna end up with 900 tails before you run into your first heads. Unlikely, but still possible. Instructions. Inspect the code within the editor to see if you understand how it will work. If you don't, no worries, click Save and Submit. Okay, we're inspecting something. Inspect the code. Okay, cool. So, story time, code version. In beginning, there was doc-type HTML, followed by heads and link, their friends type text and style sheet, and href. They were looking for more coin flips when suddenly they came across the body. Paragraph said, we will keep flipping a coin as long as the result is heads. Flip count came up 0. So do flip count equals random, 0 or 1, flip count then plus plus. If flip, echo said div class H, else said echo div class T, while flip and verb equals were and last equals flip. If flip count is equivalent to 1, verb equals was and last equals flip. Echo then said their verb flip count last. In their example, there were 4 flips, followed by the closing body tags. Good. That was an awful story, but somehow something got flipped along the lines. What are we doing? We are going to save and submit, see what happens. 5 flips. They got rid of the 3 kill count for heads. Now it's just whenever tails shows up, everyone dies. Interesting. I thought they were using both, but it's just the tail issue. Let's try that again. Save and submit. 5 again. Let's get something other than 5. What the hell? 3 5s in a row? There we go. 2 flips. Okay. 6. Completing the loop. Completing the loop. In the previous exercise, you saw how a do-while could be used to ensure that the code in the loop executed at least once. For example, PHP I equals 0, do echo I while I is greater than 0. This do-while loop only runs once and then exits. First we set I equals 0. Second, the loop runs once and outputs I, which is 0. The condition while I is greater than 0 is checked. Since I is not greater than 0, the condition evaluates to false, and the do-while loop stops. Okay, starting on line 9, here, the do, there's a do while loop that should run only once and then exit, but it's missing curly braces, parentheses, and semicolons. It's completely hopeless. They're screwed. That's basically what they're telling us. 1. Fill in the missing curly braces, parentheses, and semicolon to make sure the do while loop runs correctly. Check out the do while loop above for an example, then click Save and Submit Code to verify the page looks the way you expected. Alright, so we've got do with curly stuff, and things stop being curly just before the while. It echoes, and that echo ends when it hits a semicolon, followed by while in parentheses, which also has a semicolon. Ta-da! Be-diddy-dee-dee-dee. Save and submit. The loop ran even though the loop condition is false. Now the loop is done running. Be cool, little cat? Yes, it is. Oh, you're so good at being furry. Love you. Alright. Section 7. The battle is essentially over. All on your own. Now it's time for you to write your own do while loop. You could try to implement one of your own for or while loops using a do while structure, or you could try something completely different. But whatever you do, please do not write an infinite loop. And if you do submit one, refresh the page to stop it. Create a do while loop below the comment within the PHP tags in the editor, then click Save and Submit to make sure it behaves the way you think it should. Fair enough. Let's do this. Cat, your face is right there, hovering next to the shift key, and I'm trying to get in there. Do curliness while a condition of sorts, echo something or other, and that. Okay. So, we are looking for something. What should we do? Either hint as a recommendation. If you're having trouble on thinking of what to do and you're looking for a challenge, you could try a variation of the coin flipping loop in exercise 5. This time, roll a 6-sided die until you get a 6. To do this, you will need to assign random 1 to 6 to a variable roll, and then continue the loop on the condition roll does not equal 6. Make sure you echo roll in some way so you know if the loop is working. Gotcha. Okay, here we go. Don't mind me. We're gonna go ahead and take this because we can. Copy. Hey, no touching stuff, little cat. Keeps reaching her arm out to the escape key. Bad kitty. Okay, so there's that. All right, so we are trying to mimic. So flip counter starting at 0. And we're going to try to do their dice thing. I don't know if we need to start at I guess we start at 0. Yeah, we start at 0. So this would be roll count. How does that sound? Roll count. Roll count equals We forgot our dollar. Roll count equals 0, semicolon. Okay. From there, we will do roll count equals... Actually, I guess we'll just do roll. We'll just do roll. Inside the do, ta-da, roll equals random something. Okay. Good, good, good. Now, from random, we will do roll count plus plus. Wait, would we do roll count plus plus? No, we wouldn't. Maybe we'll get there. What's going down? Do you code as a hobby or professionally? Professionally. Where are you now? He's finishing up loops. Unless you meant me. I mean, where? How old are you? 24. Probably soon to be starting a career in IT. So I probably won't be coding back-end apps, but I do automation for virtual machines and other little scripty tasks like that. That's cool. That's fun. Okay, so we're basically just following along. Instead of flip count, well, let's see, what would we do in that case? We would have... We don't necessarily need all the verby stuff of it talking. We just kind of want to see what its rolling is. We don't need all the fun style sheet stuff. Although they have the coin thing again. Why do they have all the coin stuff? Do we just leave it as coins? You know what? We'll do that. We'll take their... We'll take their stuff and modify theirs. Because they've got all the CSS for the coin stuff. And no one's got circular dice. So, well, I mean, unless you're counting like D20 dice, which is kind of circular, but you know what I mean. We're dealing with 6-sided dice. A circle for 6-sided dice doesn't make any sense. Copy. Now we're cutting you. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right. So, what do we want to do? We want to change the condition. We want 3 tails for it to stop flipping. No, 4 tails. That's right, 4 tails. We're going to live dangerously. Flip count equals 0. Flips random. Flip plus plus. If flip, it'll be heads, else it'll be tails. While flip, or flips, flip count equals 0. So where... Let's just run it first to make sure everything's kosher. No. Okay, we did get our badge, yes. But we want... Close that. If it flips once... I'll compare it to their first one. Because I know it's basically the same. Ah, well, head count is less than 3. That's what it is.
So while tails count is less than 4, that's what I want. So it's the while condition. But we're doing do while, so it has to happen once. Holy 25 flips, my god. Anyways, we're gonna jump back to 7. So while is less than 3, syntax error. Oh, because it's this is do while versus while. My bad. Save and submit. Did we fix it? No. Come on. Reset. Refresh. D. Fixing you. Save and submit once more. 2 flips. Okay. Heads and tails. Green check mark. Good enough for me. We're gonna leave it at that. Alright, next stuff. We're going to start to close down the stream. We will gander at the next bit. Functions, part 1. Functions are a reusable bit of code that we can use to make our programs more efficient. PHP has over 700 built-in functions. Let's learn a few of them. All right. How many bits are in functions? Steps. There are steps, parts, 8. Okay. So tomorrow we'll be diving into this, introducing functions. We'll just read that bit and then we'll check out our closing stats for day 149. Introducing functions. Functions are reusable pieces of code that you can use throughout an application, saving you lots of copying and pasting. PHP has lots of built-in functions, and we'll learn some of them in these exercises. The first set of functions we'll learn are about string manipulation functions. String length is one of the most common string functions in PHP. You pass it a string or variable containing a string, and it returns the number of characters in that string. An example might be PHP get the length of a string and print it to the screen. Length, string length, David, print length, and it prints out the length of David, which would be 5. So we will do that tomorrow. In the meantime, we are backing out. Let's check the closing stats as we conclude day 149. We are currently at 54% of the way through PHP here at Codecademy with 1,742 points and loading 247 badges. Good times. Awesome. All right, well, we are getting there as we crawl ever closer to the end of completing Codecademy. Thank you to all of those who stopped by to view the stream, Troops and Dreadsteed and anyone else. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you to any viewers who accidentally stumbled in here to view the stream, and especially to those who came here willingly. Thank you. Any and all views are greatly appreciated. We are jumping over to OBS. The adventure continues tomorrow with day 150. Pretty cool. That is a thing. We'll be there. But in the meantime, stop streaming in OBS. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it.